you so much for making the time.
Thank you.
To start off, I wanted to ask you about the very early days of Skinny Girl. What was the inspiration and what took you from inspiration to perspiration to fully fledged company?
Early days of Skinny Girl was just an idea. It was basically, I wanted to create a cocktail that solved the problem, that a woman could drink as her signature drink. I feel like that was when people were drinking flavored vodka so they could feel excited about the cocktail they were drinking. And I always loved margaritas. Women love margaritas. I created a recipe that I would tell to bartenders. And I said the words Skinny Girl Margarita on The Real Housewives, and I could just feel the light bulb go off when I said it. And then it was one of the most asked questions and emailed questions to Bravo, what's in a Skinny Girl Margarita? So I decided to monetize that and create a product, which was really difficult finding a partner that wanted to do it. I pitched it to all the really major liquor companies that were run by men, and most liquor is marketed to men. And I found a small partner who could do it with me, and it really was guerrilla marketing. It was really just basic. Now that I have such a big business, you're wider, you're more horizontal, and sometimes you have to go back to the basics. I have hundreds of SKUs. I have over 20 SKUs of cocktails alone. But when I'm launching a new product now, I have to go back to my original way of doing it when I didn't have any marketing dollars, any powerful partners, anybody even who knew who I was. And what it really was blood, sweat, and tears. It was hustle. It was straight hustle. And that's a skill that you kind of always have to hone in on and have. Business, no matter what it is, it could be tech, it could be food, it could be fashion. You have to find your way in. People, I feel, have great ideas, and then how do they execute them? And then they keep hitting roadblocks, and how do you get it done? You find your way in. You come in at from a different direction. Even though I have a big brand now, Skinny Girl is all about practical solutions for women, and I learn every day from my mistakes, my failures, and I come at it from a different way, and it's just as stressful as it was then in different ways.
Could you think back to the early days and take us through one of the worst things that went wrong and how you recovered from it?
In the early days, I had a small partner who wasn't willing to spend ahead of the brand. So he was willing to kind of spend as people had ordered, but I told him, if we build it, they will come. I'm going to market this. It's going to be on the show. And I told him to shrink wrap a vehicle in Skinny Girl. I felt it. I was like, we're doing this. And then people started flipping out, wanting the product, and we couldn't keep up with the supply. And I was ripping my hair out. He got so many gray hairs from that period because I would be like, get that product, you know? We didn't really have money, but I turned that demand into something positive, letting people know, letting people into my struggle. I'm sorry, we're trying to keep up with it. We'll get it as fast as we can. And you know, later when my company was valued by Beam, they valued the sales velocity. And had we had all that product in a factory or in a warehouse, it would have been even more valuable. So you are where you are in business. I mean, that's kind of how it was. We had struggles with getting glass made in China. We had struggles with the label, the logo. I turned a brand in 18 months. I mean, to get a product from your brain onto a shelf in 8 months is unheard of, particularly in cocktails. Typically, those ready-to-drink drinks people thought were sort of low-end and didn't really buy, didn't do well. It wasn't even a category. It was sort of just stuff that was in the back of the shelf that didn't work. And this created a new category. So then everybody was copying, and there were what we call cheater brands, which still happen now and still happen, you know, on the Housewives. I couldn't even list the amount of struggles, the number of struggles, and it could so easily have not happened. It happened because I hustled. It didn't happen because it was a great idea. It didn't happen because it was on television. It happened because I made it happen.
Right, and this was not the first idea you'd had on television or even the first time you'd been on television.
I was on the Martha Stewart Apprentice, and I was a natural food chef who had a line of cookies called Bethany Bakes. I didn't have enough volume to make the product in the quality that I wanted. And I remember Target came to do business and Whole Foods came to do business, and I had to say no because I knew that if I got into the door and the product wasn't up to par, I'd never be asked back. So I had to turn a lot of things down. And now, being in places like Walmart, being in big retailers, I realize it's even hard when I have such a major successful brand. So I'm so glad that I didn't make that mistake. You know, you're learning the whole way through. You make intellectual property mistakes, you make contract mistakes, and you can't even think of them as mistakes because they're learning experiences that will cost you so much more later when the stakes are higher. They're gifts.
I wondered, after, given your experience, what advice you would have for other entrepreneurs trying to get their products onto TV.
Television can be fool's gold because people really don't work the muscle. They think, and I guess I might have thought when I was going on The Apprentice that I would just talk about my cookies and somehow some fairy princess would just market and distribute them all over the country and world, and everybody would think they were amazing. And I mean, that's not how it works. So let's just say that you go on television, you are on the most famous show, the most popular show, it has 20 million viewers, and you have a lipstick and you go on the show. Well, if you're not lined up and that lipstick isn't distributed anywhere, then you've wasted your time on the show because no one can buy it. You get one chance, you're on the show, even if it's Shark Tank, even if it's The Housewives, even if it's a show that's on every week. You're not talking about your product every week. You kind of get one shot. Tomorrow, 20 other people are talking about their products. They forgot about yours. So your product has to be ready to ship right now the minute you mention it on television. Your distribution, your marketing, your message, your shipping, your everything. So it's fool's gold because people come and they waste the opportunity of being on television. They mention products that don't even exist, that they're sort of just thinking about, and you just had your chance. Now that chance is gone. You could literally do a case study on every housewife that has tried to market and sell a product on the show and how many have failed. All those ideas are in some graveyard now.
How does Real Housewives affect your company? How does your appearance on TV help or hurt your business?
The appearance on TV could hurt because it's my image and it's the subject matter, and it could be arguing with someone, and basically people buy the product because they invested in me initially. So now I'm on the show and it's this wonderful commercial, but I actually realize how much the muscle can get lazy because being on the show does not do it. It's not moving product for it just to be on the show. It's moving product for me to give pressure to my retailers, to my partners, to my distributors, to my marketers, to my public relations team. That's what moves product, not just putting it on television. It's a great catalyst. It's like anything else. Someone could do a juice fast for a week and lose 10 pounds, but if they go and eat a cheeseburger for the next 3 days, it doesn't matter that it happened. It's what you do after.
How do you sort of balance your different obligations between being on TV and all the time that requires and running your company?
While you're shooting the television show, it's hard to run your actual business. Once the show ends, I'm in higher gear. I'm in bigger focus, and all my products and all my businesses, they're like babies. It's like a mother who has 6 children. There's one child that's crying. Well, at that moment, you have to go give that baby a bottle and take care of that baby and put that baby to sleep. And then you have a child in college that has something else going that's more evolved, and then you have to keep in touch with that child. It may be more grown, doesn't mean it doesn't need you and your advice and your expertise as much. So you have to really have a good balance, and you have to use your time efficiently. You have to be organized. Being a mother is amazing for it because when I'm with my daughter, it's complete quality time focused on her. So when I'm not with my daughter and when she's at school, I'm here focused on you. It really does create a balance rather than everything being all mixed together. You have to really be focused on the task at hand, and you can't take on too much. You have to be able to be organized and be a delegator.
Can Skinny Girl thrive without you being on Real Housewives?
Skinny Girl can definitely thrive without me being on Housewives. The real question is, until when can Skinny Girl thrive without me? That brand has to grow up and live without its mom. The goal is for the brand to eventually not need me.
I wondered if we could talk about partners more broadly, because Skinny Girl works with a lot of them. How do you juggle them, and how do you pick the right partner?
Choosing the right partner in business is as important as choosing the right partner in your personal life. So first, it has to be somebody that you obviously trust, that has similar values that you have, but it has to be someone that can work at the right pace. So I've had the small, tiny partner that can hustle with me and be in the mud, and then you're kind of craving the big partner, the people that I'm partners with, like the ConAgras, the Arizona Beverages, the SodaStreams that have big muscle and distribution. But sometimes the largest partners, they take a longer time to get something going. So if you have a new idea that you think is hot, but you want to get it on those shelves, that gigantic partner may not be the hustler because they can't just flip the switch and get it going. Often the middle partner is the good partner. They've got some strength, they're making money, they're not going to fold tomorrow and not be able to meet your needs, but they still have some hustle.
Can you tell us about your biggest partnership regret?
My biggest partnership regrets are when I let the partner drive the decisions. In starting out, Skinny Girl Margarita was my idea, completely my idea. I knew it was a great idea. Big companies that are experts in something I was not an expert in did not like the idea. So that's when my rule from A Place of Yes comes into play. Never assume someone's smarter than you. Then you go to a gigantic partner who specializes in what they do, and you want to listen to them. They tell you this is the type of product that we should launch. There's a hole in the market. Your gut says to you, I really want to do this because I'm a person that tells people what they want. I don't need to just listen to what everyone else is doing. You have to balance the advice that you listen to from your partner, but you have to go with your gut. So the times that I have let the partnership or the retailer drive the product is when I have regretted it. I mean, it's happened a couple of times where I've said, you know what, I wish I had launched with this product and pushed harder. But sometimes you have to make a deal with your partner. Listen, we'll go with your idea first, then the next one we're doing.
Can you give us any specific examples?
Skinny Girl Sparklers is a product of mine with Arizona Beverage. It is doing extremely well. It is a great kind of flagship product. I originally wanted to do a more drinkable everyday drink or an energy drink marketed to women. That was what I really wanted to do because the Skinny Girl initial premise and philosophy is a practical solution for a woman. I went with Arizona because they know their distribution, they know what their retailers wanted, and I said, okay, fine, we'll do the sparklers, and I developed them in the flavors I love, but my baby that I'm giving birth to now is this natural energy drink. I know this is going to be a game changer. I just can feel it. I have probably 120 products. Every single thing isn't the craziest idea. You need things to fill in the gaps. I mean, my partner Beam wanted to do wine and vodka. They sell a lot more in the wine and vodka categories than they do in ready to drink. It's just women drink more wine and vodka. So when they said that, I went with them and it's working. It's not as game-changing and groundbreaking as the original idea of the Skinny Girl Margarita, but you need that bread and butter to fill your business. So Sparklers is a great product that sells unbelievably well. Natural energy drink is like my star child that, you know, I'm putting on the stage in the spelling bee, that I'm just like, this is going to be a game changer.
Do you have a specific period of time that you give any new product? When do you know if something's going to be a success, sort of a middling child, or that you should go back to the drawing board?
The products that don't work are products that I wasn't in love with. I would have to say maybe I'm a little arrogant or cocky in the sense that if it's something that I love and people around me love, and I'm getting Instagrams and right now Snapchats about my Skinny Girl Daily Shake. For example, Skinny Girl Daily Shakes just launched and they're in Walmart and they're doing well. And I think that they should be blowing the doors off. So we just made the packaging pop more because this is a new product. People don't know I'm in Skinny Girl Shakes. So I know that all other shakes have about 200 calories. They have sugar. They aren't sweetened with stevia. This is a game changer. It has 80 calories. It tastes like a Yoo-hoo. It has 12 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and people are Snapchatting me and Instagramming me, these are crack. So when I know and they know and the girls that work with me know and men are saying they're obsessed, I know that if it's not working somewhere, you push it through. I'm pushing it through because I know I'm right.
Can I ask you to talk a bit about the Skinny Girl Margarita and the deal to sell the naming rights to your alcohol products to Beam has been hailed as pretty revolutionary because you retain the right to use the Skinny Girl brand for all non-alcohol products. How did you make that decision and hold to that decision?
I have to say that people in business are afraid to say what they don't know. And I was never great at contracts and dealing with lawyers and understanding, you know, I've got the biggest lawyers and the big Beam, that's the big now public company, you know, third largest liquor company in the country. And you know, you're doing contracts, but you have to have a gut instinct about how you're doing them. When Beam came in and had interest in the Skinny Girl Margarita, I didn't originally want to sell. The reason that I sold and got unemotional about it was because I knew that people were copying me. I knew there were cheater brands. I knew I had one SKU, and my gut said I need muscle and distribution. So I was out first. Who cares? I need to be out first and most powerful and with most distribution, and I needed more SKUs. Target and Walmart, they want the shiny objects, and it's Memorial Day weekend and you're going to the store, you want 20 SKUs there. They like a lot of excitement. Some of those SKUs don't even work. It doesn't matter. They want what's new, innovation. People don't realize how important innovation is. Okay, so that's why I wanted to do the deal. I owned the name Skinny Girl, but I was partners in that logo with my original partner. Beam wasn't interested in him. They wanted him to cash out, and I wanted him to cash out because I wanted to maintain that girl. I knew that I could use that girl in all these different ways. So that was number 2. Number 3, I knew that Beam is not interested in lipstick and protein shakes and the millions of things that Skinny Girl can do. And I don't need the liquor. So what I said was, You can't have the girl and the logo. You can have the girl and the logo holding the martini shaker and the glass. That's what you can have, and that's all you should want. And you have to trust me as a partner that I'm not going to screw up what you just bought for millions and millions of dollars. And I have to trust you as a partner that you're not going to screw me over for all the things that I have. You have one piece of the pizza, I have 9 pieces left, so I have to protect my pizza. I was very careful in what I carved out. You can't have her be some bimbo in a bikini holding, a cocktail. They had said to me, you can't, have Skinny Girl be in firearms or illegal substances. I mean, it sounds crazy, but you make these deals with your partners. So I maintained the brand. I own the Skinny Girl brand.
Did you have to give up anything you didn't initially want to in order to make the deal go through?
I didn't have to give up anything to Beam. They didn't take anything they didn't need. I need to tell you that when I did the contract with Beam, the best things about it were the things that I just thought of. Just what if I didn't want to promote something and then they wanted me to promote it? I mean, just carve outs. And what about the morals clause? Do they realize I'm on a reality show and I use foul language? What about that? You have to think of things. You cannot rely on lawyers. A lawyer is only as good as their client.
Who do you trust to give you advice?
I trust my lawyers, but I always say, describe it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. When I first did Skinny Girl, an ex-boyfriend of mine said, you should do a licensing deal because you'll take money off the table now. And I said to my lawyer, what is the other thing? And he said, equity. I said, what is that? He said, that means when you own it, you own the thing, but you don't get money now. I said, I want that one for the Skinny Girl Margarita because this is my ace in the hole. I had no idea what anyone was talking about. I didn't know what licensing meant. I didn't know what equity meant. I didn't know what intellectual property really meant. Now it's part of my daily vernacular.
Are there any specific mentors or advisors that you would point out as helping you particularly?
What I don't like is that when I say that I don't have a mentor, it sounds like there's no one that I look up to. I look up to so many different business people, but it's more that people that I read about from afar. I look at someone like Mark Zuckerberg, who has changed the world and is a visionary. I look at someone like Warren Buffett, donating most of his wealth to charity, and the way that people's decisions are made. But there's no one person. I watch decisions that Hillary Clinton makes, or Oprah made, or Trump is making. I mean, you kind of garner a lot of different information from different people. I don't have one person that I go to. I don't actually think that one person could tell me what I would need to know. Every day there'll be a different issue, and I'll think about, okay, I'm in trouble in this way from a public relations perspective. So who's the person that I can think of who's most gone through that? And then tomorrow it's, wait, now I need to talk about something in distribution. Who do I talk to about that? Now I need to talk to somebody who knows about intellectual property. You don't go to one doctor for every problem you would have. You have an earache, it's not the same doctor if you want to get a boob job. It's a different person. So I don't think you should rely on one person. Again, it's exercising the muscle. You can't let the muscle get weak. You have to work out in different ways.
Okay. I wondered if we could talk a little bit about all the different SKUs you mentioned you have, 120 products. Do you ever worry about brand confusion?
No, the brand looks exactly the same across the board. I want more saturation. I know about the woman who's walking into one store and seeing my cocktails and 4 or 5 varieties there. I know that another woman is going into another store and seeing my shakes and the 2 varieties there. I'm at the stage where now I need the woman to walk into the store and see a lot of the things in one store in different places, so it keeps ringing the bell. You need the repetition. You need everything to come together, but you can't expect that in a 2-year period. It's the other brands besides cocktails are in their infancy. You have to push, 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 gently massage, 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 and have it all come together and eliminate what doesn't work.
On the flip side, is there not a danger to maybe scaling up too quickly or introducing too many products at once?
We don't scale very quickly. It's one line at a time. So the last thing we launched was candy. It was a big rollout, and candy had its moment. It's been launched, and we haven't launched a big major product since then. The shakes and the bars I'm talking about now, because they've really gone into distribution, and Walmart, who I have a partnership with, is very excited about them. Once the candy ships into Walgreens and where it's going to be, then it'll be my time to really give it its credit. You don't yammer on and talk about 25 different things at the same time, and you don't launch things at the same time. It's all very staggered and a very intentional calendar that works with when the press and media are more active, with when I'm more active, with when I'm on my show, with when a partner is ready to really spend money and to launch something and then to support it. It wouldn't be fair to your partners to launch more than one thing at a time.
How do you balance your commitments to different partners?
I balance my commitments to my partners by bringing them all together. I have a brand summit and I treat my partners as if we're all on the board of the same company. So we all sit down and partners talk to each other. They also help each other. My Skinny Girl sparklers and microwave popcorn will be featured at a wedding expo together. I've paired Beam, who has big giant distribution, with my chocolate and candy partner, because what goes better than a glass of red wine with chocolate? So you put them together, you want them to be happy with each other. And when you get asked to speak on CNBC Squawk Box, you decide what has good distribution right now and you decide who you're going to talk about. But no one's mad at you talking about somebody else, because the one thing that hits it out of the park helps everybody else. I have a brand letter that goes out, a weekly update and a monthly newsletter. So you send out a newsletter that says, wow, we had a great success with our launch at Walmart of our chocolate shakes. This is how many stores we rolled out in, and this has been amazing. And then all of a sudden, your coffee partner gets all excited and maybe even a little jealous, just like, wow, okay, let me reach out to Walmart and talk about that launch. And now that we know that shakes are doing so well at Walmart, let's put coffee in Walmart. And now the sweeteners category, which goes great with coffee, says, okay, why don't we do an end cap and be marketed together with the coffee pods? So everybody is up, it's communication and organization.
I wondered if I could ask you to talk a bit about the landscape you see for the lifestyle brand. We've seen a couple of problems there between Martha Stewart's company getting sold for not a lot of money, Jessica Alba's Honest Company not having some problems with marketing of late. Do you see these as affecting Skinny Girl, and how do you see sort of the future landscape of the lifestyle brand evolving?
I don't think the average person knows what percentages that a lot of these people own of their companies. They have other people kind of controlling the situation. So I don't know Jessica Alba, and I think the products are lovely, and I like her mantra. I think it's been rumored that she owns 20% of her company. So I don't know who's really Oz behind the curtain. I don't know about that. I don't know, when Martha Stewart went public, that's a whole different conversation. You've gone public and now you have other people in your soup. I own 100% of my company. I don't have debt. So I have a lot of control. I have all the control of what's going on. When something goes wrong, it's all on me. When something goes right, it's all on me. I take full responsibility, and I can't rest on my laurels of the success of the Skinny Girl cocktails. I could have just said, okay, let everybody think about how great I am and the wonderful thing that I did, and I was on Forbes magazine, but I decided to keep the 9 pieces of the pizza and go do it again and again, and learn my mistakes and learn my lessons and inspire women, be able to tell other entrepreneurs what I've gone through, what they will go through, and this is the point. To help other people. I'm still learning. I've been asked to write business books. I wouldn't even know what to write. I'm in the grit right now. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm learning every single day.
What's the one piece of advice you would have for another entrepreneur just starting out?
It's about the execution. I always bring up the Winklevoss twins, those guys that said that they created Facebook, and the bottom line is he executed Facebook. I have no idea the answer to that question. He named it, he executed it. It has changed the world, so it's who executes. 10 different people could have the same idea. It's happened. Spinning's been around for 25 years. The mash-in ice cream that Cold Stone Creamery did was at Steve's Ice Cream in Great Neck 25 years ago. It's who's going to execute the idea.
Bethany, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. This is amazing.